Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming about trading in those Canadian winters for the sun-soaked hills of Italy? I mean, the food, the culture, that whole relaxed vibe of La Dolce Vita, it can feel like a total fantasy, right? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how you can make that dream a very real, very practical plan. So, let's get into it. First up, let's just talk money, because the numbers here are, well, they're pretty incredible. Just look at this. We're comparing Toronto with Palermo and Sicily. Consumer prices over 50% lower. And rent, get this, rent is nearly 80% cheaper. 80? This isn't just a small change. We're talking about a complete transformation of your finances. And that financial angle is a huge part of the picture. It's not just about escaping the snow. Moving to Italy can be a genuinely smart financial decision, a way to make your retirement savings go so much further. So let's really unpack that dream. We're going to walk through all the practical stuff, from getting the right visa to finding a place and, understanding what life is really like day to day. Okay, first things first, how do you actually get to live there, long term? Well, for Canadians who are non-EU citizens, there's one main path, and it's a visa designed specifically for retirees. It's called the elective residency visa. And here's the most important part. It's for people who can support themselves with passive income. We're talking pensions, investment income, things like that. Basically, you have to show you can live there without needing to work in Italy. This visa is the key that unlocks the door. The application itself is actually pretty straightforward. You'll need the usual stuff, forms, photos, all that. But the two absolute deal makers are proof of that passive income we just talked about and proof you have a place to live. That means either a signed lease or the actual deed to a property you've bought. So, what's the magic number for that income? Right now, the minimum you need to show is 31,000 euros a year per person. That's the bar you have to clear to prove to the Italian government you can take care of yourself financially. And I've got to say this one more time just because it's so critical. With the elective residency visa, you absolutely cannot work in Italy. Not remotely, not under the table, nothing. 100% of your income has to be passive and come from outside of Italy. Okay, so you've got a plan for the visa. Let's get to the really exciting part, finding and buying your own little piece of Italy. Now, as a Canadian, there are a few legal things you'll need to sort out. First, you need an Italian tax ID number. It's called a codice fiscale. You'll also have to show clear proof of where your money is coming from, and Italy has this thing called a reciprocity rule, which basically just means they treat Canadian buyers exactly how Canada treats Italian buyers. Simple as that. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the huge difference in property prices across the country. Yeah, the big cities and famous coastlines can cost a pretty penny, but check out the southern regions, places like Sicily or Puglia. The prices are unbelievably affordable. It makes them a fantastic target for retirees on a budget. But hold on, the price on the listing is not the final price you'll pay. You have to factor in the closing costs. And this chart breaks down the big ones for you. There's a transfer tax, fees for the notary, and of course, the real estate agent's commission. Altogether, these can add a pretty hefty chunk to your total cost, so you've got a budget for them. All right, you have your visa, you have your home. Now, let's talk about the part that could be a total game changer. There's this special tax incentive that honestly sounds almost too good to be true. So let me just ask you this. What if you could pay a flat tax of just 7% on all of your foreign income? We're talking your Canadian pension, your RSP withdrawals, your investment income, everything. Well, in certain parts of Italy, you actually can. So how do you get in on this amazing deal? Well, there are a couple of main rules. You have to be receiving a pension from a foreign country, and you have to move your official tax residency to a small town, one with a population under 20,000, that's located in a specific part of the country. And these are the places where you can do it. All of them are down in the gorgeous south of Italy. See, this whole tax break was created to bring new people and a bit of economic life into these beautiful, less populated areas. It's really a win-win for everyone. Okay, let's bring things back down to earth a little bit. A dream retirement isn't just about spreadsheets and tax rates. It's about your actual day-to-day life. So what's it really like? Well, you've got to weigh the good with the less good. The pros are huge: that amazing lifestyle, the super low cost of living, and access to excellent public health care. But you also have to be ready for the cons. The bureaucracy can be painfully slow. You'll probably need to learn at least some Italian. And believe it or not, heating those old stone houses in the winter can get pretty pricey. Now, this next part is a massive reality check for any Canadian thinking of moving abroad. Your provincial health plan is just not going to cut it in Italy. Not even close. Look at these numbers. Your plan might only cover something like $75 a day for a hospital stay, and it gives you zero coverage for prescriptions. Zero. So let me be really clear about this. Private health insurance isn't just a nice to have. It is 100% essential. It's actually a requirement for your visa anyway, but it's the only way to make sure you're properly covered if something happens. And finally, remember that slow bureaucracy con we talked about? Well, it's not a one-and-done hassle. You'll get to know your local immigration office, the questura, pretty well because you'll have to go there to renew your residency permit, the permesso di soggiorno, every 1 to 2 years. Patience really is a virtue here. So when you weigh it all up, the incredible financial benefits, the amazing lifestyle, against the practical stuff like paperwork and learning a new language, the real question is this for you? With a little bit of smart planning, could La Dolce Vita really be your next chapter?